Hey everybody, welcome. How's everybody doing today? How's your Monday going? We're back to the normal time. I was 2 weeks ago, I took the week off from, I don't think I even made a video that week. I didn't make a video or do a live stream. And then last week I had Kristen on the show, which was fun. So you can go and see that. And I've just been kind of taking a little bit of a break from social media and doing different things. But anyway, I'm excited to be back. And I thought I would talk about teaching your students. A lot of teachers have already started that process with their students, maybe from a company, a Chinese company that you're working for. Let me know in the chat if you are here and watching. Please do say hello. What are you doing these days? Are you with a company, or are you branching out into a non-Chinese company at the moment, or are you teaching your students privately? I would love to know what you guys are up to. Most people that watch these live shows watch the replay. So if you are one of the replay watchers, welcome. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you're here live, say hello in the chat. We've got a few people who were here early, so that's awesome. Elizabeth, you are the first one. Hello, hello. And I will also timestamp this. So if you are watching the replay and you don't want to watch all of this introduction type of stuff, then you can look below and click on the timestamp for when I start sharing some content. So, hey, Abigail, good to have you here. Hey, James, again from Poland, often here on the lives. Thanks for coming back. Hey, Andrea, how are you? James is here. Oh, sorry, said James already. Elizabeth said, tutoring a couple of students privately in home. So, okay, so you're teaching a few in your house. That's awesome. Is that a new thing, or were you doing that before? Brian is here. Hey, Brian. Just before this live, I spilled the tea. Not figuratively or anything. I poured a cup of tea and spilled it. So I was like rushing over to get the tea, the hot water refilled before this started, and got in the chair just before it happened. Brian says, hello, I'm still with VIPKid, but transitioning to private. Okay, cool. So let me know what you've got going on so far. Hopefully some of this will be helpful. NX Poor, hello. Andrea is still hanging on with VIPKid, but looking elsewhere, hoping to get some more private students. Awesome. So it seems like a lot of teachers are moving in that direction, thinking about, that sort of route, especially if you were, let go from a company because of all the things that are going on. I don't want to talk too much about the updates from different companies, especially with VIPKid. We still don't know things. I actually haven't even kept up with the October holiday with VIPKid, but I'm pretty sure October 1st to 7th, we can't book classes. Somebody can let me in the chat know if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure that is the situation with VIPKid. But I do believe that there's 2 makeup days, which would be school days coming up like after the break, so next weekend. But I haven't even looked into it, to be honest. I did see a few things on Facebook, but yeah, haven't really gotten into it too much. So Joanna, hey, Joanna, I have 2 Chinese students, or sorry, that's James. Let's just go back here. Starting to tutor privately. Awesome. Leah's teaching on OutSchool. Very, very cool. Bookings are good. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I know they kind of go up and down depending on the season, but yeah, OutSchool is a great option. James, I've got 2 Chinese students from my old company and 1 Dutch student. Awesome. All my time at the moment is taken up with creating classes. It's a slow process. Yeah, but James, once you get those classes kind of going, and once you get in the role of creating those, it's going to be much, much easier. I am going to share again some curriculum resources here. Andrew says no, 1st to the 7th. You can get booked the 8th and the 9th. Right. So that would be next Saturday and Sunday, or next Friday and Saturday. Okay, yeah, no classes on the 1st to the 7th. Before we get going, and especially for those that are watching the replay, I am still offering coaching in the month of October. And what I'm doing is I've changed it to 1-hour sessions that people can book. And I'm really supporting teachers with companies right now who are transitioning into wanting to go private. We're going to talk about your goals. We're going to create action steps, and we're going to look at an action plan for you moving forward, especially if you are struggling. I know a lot of teachers kind of get overwhelmed with everything that goes into really creating a business and shifting your mindset from being a teacher with a company to actually being, an entrepreneur and someone who's building your own thing. So I have a lot of experience with that, with building my own offers in various different things, teaching students privately for the last almost 11 years, especially with a couple. And I've learned a lot of things along the way, and have been navigating this whole Chinese student route as well privately over the last several months in particular, but especially over the last year as I've branched out into other companies and kind of running my own show. If you're interested in all of those types of contents, those types of issues and questions that you might have with online teaching, my group Going Solo is a good place where we're sharing resources and chatting about all things going on your own and becoming an independent teacher. So the link for that is in the description of this video, and you can join. Hope you do. Hope to see you there. So what I want to talk about today is the idea of kind of a roadmap of things that you need to be thinking about when you're going private, when you're going to teach, especially Chinese students, and some of the challenges that come up from that. And I've shared various things in other videos, but I thought I would kind of consolidate it all into here. And I think the very first step that you need to decide to do is to decide to actually do it, right? The decision to actually do it really is what needs to happen first and foremost. I hear a lot of teachers saying, yes, I'm thinking about, moving independent, or I'd like to, or, yeah, I'm going to do that when VIPKid closes up shop, and I'm going to, all of a sudden have all these students, and I'm going to start my independent teaching business. And that's great. That is the first step. But I would start now thinking about making that decision that, is this something that you really want to do? Because you have to kind of fall in love with the process of building your business. It's not something that happens overnight. And if you're just looking for a quick fix, maybe you just have a couple of students that you want to keep teaching, you can certainly do that without a whole lot of preparation. But if you want to scale and you want to grow and you really want to have your own offer and create your own classes that convert with Chinese parents, then you need to make that decision right now to actually do it. And when you make that decision to do it, then the other things will fall into place because you really be committed and excited to making it happen. A lot of teachers are concerned about using WeChat and whether or not that's going to be regulated by the government, and all of these kind of things that really we don't actually have answers to at the moment, and whether or not it's going to even be an issue. I've been on WeChat for 10 years, never had a problem. I wouldn't have thought that this whole ESL industry in China would have crashed, but I believe that it's still a viable way to communicate with your parents, at least in the short term. Another option for communicating with your parents, if you want to have some backups to your backup, is to download DingTalk. So DingTalk is another tool, and it is used widely by Chinese people who like Messenger. So it's just another app that you can use to communicate. So DingTalk is one. I've actually used DingTalk with a couple of different companies before, so I'm sort of familiar with how it works. It's not as all-encompassing as WeChat, and it's a little bit different, but it is another backup tool that you can use. And of course, you can always get their email address. So if you're still teaching with a company and you haven't done this already and you want to move into private independent teaching, start that conversation with your students. Start talking to your parents about what happens if something shuts down. There's been rumors, and it's just rumors, and I'm not going to pour into the rumors, but that things might be drastically different after October the 1st with VIPKid. So get ready, be prepared, get those things in place now so that you are not scrambling when the hammer does fall and you're trying to find your students, or not able to find your students. So start that conversation now. Share your DingTalk ID, share your email address with parents and feedback in the chat box. Have a conversation with them at the end of the class. If your student's old enough, I would be definitely getting at least a few of your students onto WeChat. And one thing that you can do is invite them into a group onto WeChat. I might kind of hold back on that until you're actually solid on what you're offering, what your payment's going to be, and all those types of things. But you can invite them into a group once those things are ready, and that's a really easy way to kind of share all the information with everybody all at once. And then We'll get into where you might be sending them to once they're in that group, or where you're going to make your offer or let them know that you're teaching. I would also be really careful on Chinese social media about using words like classes and lessons and English teaching and all of those types of things. You can use alternative words like workshops, clubs. You could make up other words about, lessons that are not specifically about English lessons. And you could call yourself something other than a teacher. Like you could call yourself a coach or a group leader or something like that, that is a little bit less obvious, because we don't know what's going to happen with that. There has been a new notice out of China cracking down more on one-on-one private tutoring. It's more geared towards actual language institutions, and as we've known with the companies, and also with individuals that might have been hiring private teachers to teach their students. So from what I've read and the discussions I've had, if you're doing things on a very small scale, it's nothing that you need to really worry about at the moment. So once you've got those parents on WeChat, what are you going to do once they're there? Maybe you've had parents for a while and you've used it to share your schedule, or you've shared photos of trips, or you've enjoyed seeing their photos. I would start having that conversation with them about their English classes that they're having with you. So, start conversations in your WeChat DMs with parents, asking them, what they love about the curriculum that they're using with whatever company, or why do they want their student to take English classes. Start having conversations with those parents so that they know that you're engaged with what their desires, needs, and likes about the current company that they're with are, so that you can think about what your offer is going to be for those parents. A lot of teachers might just want to take a pre-made curriculum, slap it onto Zoom, and say, this is what I'm teaching. It's kind of similar to VIPKid. That's one way of doing it. But if you really want to have something unique and get to know a little bit more about why they like to take your class, those kinds of things, then having conversations with the parents in WeChat is a great way to start, rather than just saying, hey, I'm teaching privately now, and this is my rate, and here's my classes, and let's go. You would, it would be beneficial for you to start talking to parents about, all those types of things, and just start getting conversations going with them. Leah says, trying to settle on a curriculum. Hey, Maria, thank you for the compliment. I did get a haircut the other day. Things are open in Bangkok now, much more than they were a month ago. So out and about a little bit more. Appreciate that. Joanna, do you have any idea how we can get payment from Chinese students? I'm going to talk about that. With Alipay, I cannot withdraw money and cannot transfer to bank account. Yeah, I'll talk about that. Hang on a second. Andy says it's not too expensive. Did I cut off your previous comment? Not too expensive. I'm building my own lesson plans with ease. Awesome. Yeah. So you can totally do that on your own. Here's, one curriculum resource that I shared in a video before. It is Daniel Didio's, and the link I think might be in the video description. It's called eslchitchat.com. There's also another one that I share that I quite like, and that's Crystal Clear ESL. Now, these are teacher-created curriculums, right? So this is not like a professional company that has a big team of people putting the curriculum together. They've taken different frameworks and different grammar continuums and reading continuums and language acquisition material, and created their own, and it's fantastic, and it's a great place to start off of. I've looked at both of these curriculums, and I like that there's a lot of room for you to add in your own things, especially if you're kind of focusing on conversation and fluency. But they have everything else. I mean, they've got the grammar, they've got the vocabulary, they've got things into levels where you can kind of start from and build on. So there are definitely lots of resources out there. Elizabeth, went back to your pet sitting business. Cool. Okay. While this one grows, what are you growing? I can't remember what you had said before. Sorry about that. forgetting. Teaching at home, and it's relatively new, came after EF ended. Yeah, that is a little bit different, isn't it? Do you want to take those students online that you've got and grow that maybe? Carl, hey Carl, there's so many rumors circulating about VIPKid shutting down classes with Chinese students in October. VIPKid has notified parents, but not teachers. Yeah, I've asked a couple of parents. One has showed me something similar to this, that what you're saying about classes. I actually had one student, funny enough, and I don't know how this works, but they somehow forged a like a report card from another school in another country, in an English-speaking kindergarten, and they were able to use that to be able to show that they don't take classes in China. It's totally wacky to me. I really don't know how it's going to work out for them, but apparently his mother told me that he can take classes from the 1st to the 7th because according to VIPKid, he doesn't go to school in China, which is totally untrue. I really don't know how something like that is able to fly and how easy that would be. If that was the case, wouldn't everybody be trying to do that? But yeah, honestly, they're just rumors. Yes, parents have been told different things by LPs, but there's so many mixed messages out there. And even in the VIPKid official Facebook group, I saw Eric talking about basically, it's all rumors until we actually get it down into facts. So I wouldn't be too stressed out about it at the moment. But again, as I'm talking about right now, right here, plan, prepare, and don't necessarily anticipate a whole ton of classes in October. My paycheck for September is the lowest it's been in almost 4 years. I didn't work for those few public holidays that we had in September. 1 week, I hardly had any bookings. I don't know what was going on. So I'm barely making what I was normally making. And also busy doing other things as well. So sort of put less emphasis on it. But Twinkle, good job, Andy. All right. Yeah, I don't get anything for sharing this. Sharing what, Andy? Twinkle? Yeah, I've heard of Twinkle actually, but I don't know if it's like a comprehensive curriculum. If I remember correctly, it's more of a resource bank. So yes, class packages, absolutely. That's the way to go with the Chinese clients. Think about what you would like to offer, maybe packages of 10, 20. Most parents are used to paying for 50 classes or more. So definitely offer classes. I would not be dealing with one payment classes where you're just paying for one-off classes. I wouldn't do that. I would offer a trial class, maybe a 20, 25-minute trial class where the parent can see the curriculum. And then, you pitch the package of classes to the parent at the end, or, that's sort of part of the deal after the trial class. Off to class is great. So it really can be used with students as well. I would just say that if your student is lower than like a level 5 with VIPKid, it's not so suitable. It's really geared towards adults. And while the content is okay for kids, the sort of display of it and the characters used and the references are more adult focused in terms of like work and business, a lot of that type of material. But you certainly at the lower levels of off to class curriculum, you certainly can get some really nice lessons there. And actually, while I'm just talking about that, I'll bring it up so you can see. But go and watch my video that I did a couple of weeks ago about different curriculum ideas, because I do jump in there and show you a very small glimpse of all of these. So with off to class, with the step-by-step beginner curriculum, let's just go right to the beginning here and let's launch it. And because I have students in here, I'm just browsing. Close all the open classrooms. So, it can be really, especially with, level 4, level 5. So you can see they use older characters, but a lot of the content is still really, really good. I mean, this would be great for a beginner student, maybe level 3 or 4. I don't know. It kind of goes with some basic sentence structures, but it would definitely be too much for like a level 2. It kind of advances a little bit quicker. So, but still, you can see, and it's a student management system as well. So, you can here have the classroom chat, and this start video button links with my Zoom link. So I can start Zoom right away just by clicking start video. And the student is also in this classroom here, and we're both looking at the slides. I see the teacher notes right here. The student does not. The student just sees the slide like this, but we're talking on video and audio through Zoom. So I really like it too. Okay, so have those conversations. And then this is what I also want to say. Be very clear with, sorry, Brittany, I'll get back to that in a second. Be really clear on, before you start, that you get clear on what your offer is. So that's why after having conversations, learning a little bit, like looking at your student body, your base, and saying, who am I mostly teaching? Where do I get the most students? What ages, what levels? What do they enjoy about my teaching? Why do they keep coming back for classes? Then start putting out your offer. So look for the curriculum, make a decision on that, whether you're going to make your own or purchase something. As I said, a curriculum like Daniel's from eslchitchat.com, you get almost like over 400 lessons. The website is a little bit hard to navigate, but it's really simple once you purchase. So it's only $89 for lifetime, and you get all of it. So it's really easy once you're inside. So be clear on your offer. Have something simple. It doesn't mean that you're set in stone with the payments, the website, the whatever. You can do things scrappy, right? I like the phrase start scrappy, and that's okay to start scrappy. Just start, but have some kind of an offer and have some kind of a system that you can use with parents. So when they say, I'm ready, I'd love to take classes with you, you're not kind of going backwards and saying, get back to me next week, I'm still working on this. Start making those decisions. What are you going to charge? Even if it's not perfect, just make a decision. Make a decision on the price for a package of 10, a package of 20, and maybe a package of 40. I don't know, and make the price a little bit less the higher they go. Make sure that you're factoring in costs that you're going to have to put up for whatever platform you use, whatever curriculum you use, whatever payment processing you use. Okay, so factor all those things in, maybe add 5 to 10% on top of what you would like to take home from a 25-minute class, and then go from there. I can help you with pricing if you want to email me or jump on a coaching call. We can go over that and look at all of those things. In terms of payment, so the easiest way is for parents to pay through Alipay and WeChat Pay. We've talked about that on other videos before here. I won't go into that, but that is the easiest way. And the best way to do that is to integrate it into your Stripe account if you want to be the one that's receiving the money. So again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here about how to set all that up, but it is very easy to do in your Stripe account. Enable Alipay and WeChat Pay. Sometimes it takes a couple of days. And then if you don't have a website set up yet, you can just create an invoice inside of Stripe. Let's say the parent wants to pay, you've got one student, they want to pay 10 classes, and you're charging $20 a class. All right, that's a good starting point anyway. I think $20 a class. So for 25 minutes, so that's $200. You can create an invoice inside of Stripe to bill them that in RMB, and you can send it to them, and they'll just use a phone to scan it. That is the process of doing it on your own and managing the payment on yourself. There is a website service called strikingly.com. A lot of teachers have been using it in my Facebook group. And actually, if I can bring up this guy's website here, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, but I'm going to pop this in. So this is a teacher who has created a one-page kind of website on Strikingly. He's translated things into Chinese. So this is a lot of information, a lot of material here. But what you can do is you can book a class here, and you can select the package. So he's got all these different offers here. Maybe you've just got one offer. It's 10 times one-on-one classes, 212 pounds. That is pounds, right? One of those, buy now. And then you can go to checkout. And once the parent puts in their contact information, it will generate a QR code for Alipay and WeChat Pay. Now, Strikingly will also help you get your website front facing in China so that it's viewable. So that's a nice part of their service. They do take quite a bit out, I believe, from the payment. So that's why, if you need something fast, then that's one option to use them. A lot of teachers have WordPress sites. You can certainly do it all on WordPress. It's going to be a lot more work integrating that, but that is possible. But talk to the parents, ask them how they would like to pay you. Maybe they have other options. Maybe getting started, you're able to use PayPal, or you're able to, do a bank transfer with the parent, or maybe they've got another solution. So, it's, as I say, have those conversations. And then once you've kind of got something going, send it out to the parents so that they are able to maybe book a trial class with you or get started. I know it seems like a lot of things, right? There's so much stuff that goes into this, but don't feel like you have to have everything 100% from the beginning, because it's going to take you a while to get there. And if you want to get started quickly, just get something, use a service like Strikingly. If you don't want to build your own website, go with that. I think you can set up a website for free inside of there. And have something really, really simple, just a way for them to pay for the classes, and then maybe you're going to use Zoom or something like that to do the class on, and purchase a curriculum. That would be the easiest way to get started. Purchase a curriculum like Daniel's or Crystal's and just use it, especially if you've got lower level students, age 5 to 9 years old. That's the route I would go just to get started. And then you can certainly, fine tune things and build it a little bit bigger so that you can scale a little bit more. Okay, so I wanted to also show you a couple of services. If you are ready with multiple students and you want kind of everything all in one, I've just come across these, which are quite nice. So actually in my Facebook group, I've talked about To Be Live before. This is a Zoom alternative. It does work in China, and they've got the scheduling as well inside of here. And I think they're working on the payment. But I've had a number of teachers take the workshop with To Be Live to check it out, and they really like the sort of layout of what it looks like. And it's a really great video conferencing platform. So this is one, and you can also do scheduling in here as well. Another one that I just heard about today is this one. I don't know much about it, but it's New Call. And it's sort of a better version of Zoom, it seems, more geared towards education, because Zoom was never geared for online teaching. They just kind of exploded because of what happened last year in the pandemic. But they've got a lot of cool things here. I'm excited to check it out and share more about it on the channel. They've got timers, quizzes, answer buzzer, raise hand, rewarding, collaborative whiteboard. Someone just shared this with me today, by the way, so I don't know too much. Graph and pull in pics, role-playing, teacher assistant, podium, attendance. Yeah, so it looks kind of cool. I don't see anything about payments, receiving payments on here. It's more of just a sort of online classroom. And the pricing is good too. I looked at that. It's free. If you just want to have, a one-on-one classroom, you can do that for free. Looks like the resolution's low. So for $10 a month, you can have higher resolution quality, and you can even get 2 months for free. So yeah, not too bad. So again, all of these things are going to cost you a little bit. So you do need to kind of be aware of that. So looking at the last comment, hey, Sonia, good to see you. Yeah, we're talking about teaching students privately from our companies that have kind of been folding. Sonia's a tutor coach as well, and also creates great content about building a YouTube channel. So check her out. I've had her on my channel actually about a month ago. Jonathan, that's an amazing website. Which one are you talking about? James, maybe you could spend some time talking about business English. I find it difficult to define. It's such a generic term. I have legal experience, just not sure where to begin or how to structure it. So one of the first places that I would focus on, James, if you're kind of in the business English route and wanting to teach adults, is I would get really clear on a particular demographic of adults. So where are you going to focus your business English? Are you looking at, Japanese professionals who want to work overseas? I mean, that's getting really specific. Or are you looking for, South American doctors, or, oftentimes people that go into business English are also looking to work with maybe an industry type of client that they used to work in. So I would get clear on the demographic. I would get clear on even inside of business English, what are you going to focus on that could be even more narrow? It is kind of broad, but maybe you can get really specific on a specific type. Like, is it presentation skills? Is it, I don't know, off the top of my head, I'm not coming up with other ideas, but, maybe if you're in that niche, you're able to kind of generate some more specific ideas inside of that. But, again, and ask the people that you're potentially teaching, ask your potential students, find out where they're hanging out online, and ask them those questions. You'll get to know a lot by doing some market research. Carl, I see tons of new demos posted to YouTube for Magic Ears. Seems they are still aggressively hiring. Really? I haven't seen that. I'll have to take a little look. I haven't seen that for Magic Ears. I think they're fading out just like VIPKid is, to be honest. I don't see how they're going to stick around. It's a good idea to discuss the topic of consequences with parents. Let's dig this one out here. Carl, is it a good idea to discuss the topic of consequences with parents, or just avoid it and leave the risk to their discretion? Can you let me know what you mean by consequences? Are you talking about student behavior, or are you talking about policies, like if the child doesn't show up, if you don't show up? Because those are also things that you need to be thinking about. And I would start developing those policies, like those. They don't have to be complicated, guys. You could just be putting a paragraph together about what happens if you don't show up, what happens if the parent and the child don't show up, what happens if there's an internet outage or something like that. In this case, you're in control of your own cancellation policy, right? So you kind of you can be more flexible with that and say, I will make it up to you at another time. We're not able to do that with companies. So the freedom of being an independent teacher is really wonderful, and you can be in control of those types of policies that maybe you didn't like with the company you're with. So I would come up with a cancellation policy, a very simple one. What you would do if either person cancels. I would come up with a refund policy. What are you going to say? What if they say we want a refund? I would say, too bad, so sad. So I would make that into your policy as well. Maybe if they've done less than half of the classes, they might get 50% back, but I really wouldn't get into too much refunding. In fact, I probably wouldn't do any. I've never done refunding before. I would have like a late policy as well. What happens if the student's late? So just very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just some simple policies. Yeah, I think that's all I would probably start with. Consequences with the government cracking down. Oh, let me just go back up here and see that comment one more time. So if that's why I think you're talking, is it a good idea to discuss the topic of consequences with parents? I mean, at this point, like, if I'm understanding it being what the government's doing, like, I wouldn't let that affect you. I wouldn't even worry about it, but I wouldn't be selling class packages of too much. I wouldn't go more than 50 for sure, because if something does happen and they're not able to communicate with you, that might be another policy that you refund, on that type of situation if things kind of crack down more and we weren't able to cross that barrier. So I would definitely, I would get their email address, and I would also, it's very unlikely for that to happen, Carl, but let me know if that's what you're talking about. Yes, his website is great. Yeah. So I just saw someone talk about Voov. So Voov is a good one for an alternative to Zoom as well. The difference with Voov that I have found is that the student can't draw on the screen like the teacher can, like you can on Zoom whiteboard and things like that with the annotation. So you're limited there. I would honestly Yeah, I mean, if you want to use Voov, if Zoom is kind of glitchy sometimes and not all your students can use it, then Voov is an alternative. Remember, that stuff is simple to change, simple to fix, simple to jump over to something else. Start them on what you know and take it for a test drive, right? Say you're familiar with Zoom, get them onto Zoom. And if it doesn't work, well, then you know you're going to have to find something else. So there's alternatives out there. Another one is Zoomu, Zhumu. And again, the platforms that I just shared, To Be Live, and this one that I'm excited to check out, Neukol, Neukol. So those are a few options. And things you can do as well, with your parents once they're on WeChat is you could create a very easy, simple, shareable PDF. Like you could make something in Canva, and it instead of a website, right? It could be like, honestly, a simple explanation of you, what you're offering, what you're using to teach, and a QR code that maybe sends them to an invoice from Stripe, something like that, or a link to schedule a free class with you or something like that. So that's also something nice that you could do. You could easily make something like that in Canva and then get that out and share with your parents. See if I missed anything here. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me know if you're just popping in. I see about 35 people here, so say hello, and ask questions. Let me know what company you're still with. Where are you hanging out? I'm still recruiting for Cambly, a company called All Right as well. They're kind of special because they are focusing on online teachers that also speak another language. So a lot of their students are in Europe. They pay the same as Cambly Kids, about $12 an hour. So those two I know are hiring, and especially Cambly is really wanting applicants for Cambly Kids right now. So I wonder if they're having an influx of Chinese parents coming onto the platform. I know that OutSchool has seen some of that, and other companies I've heard about have seen Chinese students taking classes. They'll find a way. The demand is still there for us. Thank you, King. Might be able to find business textbook PDFs online. The company I'm with is using Market Leader. Cool. I forgot. On this live show, I'm wanting to have interviews with teachers who are doing just this. In addition to just myself talking about it, I would love to interview some teachers who have had some success in the last couple of months with teaching some private students. So if that's you and you're watching, or you're watching the replay or watching live now, get in touch with me. Send me an email at, you can send an email to, I'll put the ticker at the bottom, tim@onlineteacherdude.com. And let me know if you're interested in popping on the show over the next several weeks. I would like to interview a few teachers who are finding success here as companies are crashing down. And I will keep everyone updated with VIPKid. I have sort of tuned things out just because nobody knows anything, and what's the point in getting caught up in all of the hype? But again, if you are kind of floundering and not really sure where to begin, please get in touch with me, coaching.onlineteacherdude.com. Spaces are limited in October. I'm only doing an hour or two a day, but I would love to connect with you if you need some support, if you need an action plan, if you need some accountability. That's what I'm offering here. And again, don't forget about my Facebook group, Going Solo. I'm going live in here right now, and I would love to have you join. It has grown a lot in the last couple of months, and yeah, I'm excited about that. So let's pop this over here. Thank you for that info, King. I'm not going to pop that up, but James can take a look at that. Darja, OutSchool, awesome. Very, very cool. Getting some students, which is great. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Stay tuned into this channel. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still building my business and helping online teachers in lots of different ways, and would love to have you continue to watch my videos. I've got content coming out about other companies, about resources for private teaching as well. And yeah, I would love to have you still be here, whether you are an online teacher moving into something else. It's kind of a weird time for all of us, but one thing I can guarantee you is that you will get support here if you are looking for that. Before we sign off, Heather, today the parents of one of my VIPKid students said he wasn't sure how to get access to me for classes because of the internet situation for them. Yeah, not really sure. I mean, if they're on VIPKid, they've got internet, so he's able to contact you through WeChat or Ding Talk. I talked about that in the beginning of the show, or just simply through email as well. That's another option. So we're a little over time. Thanks for being here, everyone. If there aren't any more questions, I will sign off. Hope everybody has a fantastic week. And yeah, again, send me an email if you've got any questions about any of the things that we talked about, and I will get back to you within a couple of days. Have a wonderful week and happy teaching, whatever that looks like for you. See you next Monday, same time, same place. Bye, everyone.